So it's pretty well established that value is important in game, but the question I want to ask in this video is, what is value anyway? So there are a ton of different theories floating around there about what is value, right? There's this school of thought that is like maybe the classic mainstream narrative. It's all like looks, money, status. That's one version. Then there's the version that it's all like social value, right? Do you have social alliances? Do you have friends? Do you have people who have your back? Sort of like power or social power being value. And then there's this idea that came like uniquely from pickup, which is this idea that it's about giving a girl experience. Like if you're like can pump social state and control social energy and that kind of stuff, that's a form of value. And there's some validity to all three of them, more to some, less to others. But let's talk about what would make sense. What would make sense as value? Well, what would make sense is that value is what will help a girl to survive and get her genes into the next generation, the generation after. That's what almost all of evolution is based on, right? So in that sense, that's what would make sense as value. And more technically, what would make sense is what would have been the case 3,000, 4,000 years ago before we had a lot of technology. So the things that would have worked in a tribal society to get your genes into the next generation are value. Let's use that definition and let's look at these different things. Looks, attractiveness, is that a value? Yes, because it's an indicator of health, right? If you have a symmetrical face, if your body and physique look good, it means you've been healthy. And actually when there was a lot of mortality, when people died young, that was very, very important. So looks do matter in that sense. What about resources, money, that kind of stuff? Well, the more resources, money, assets that you can control in that evolutionary environment, in that tribal environment, the more likely you are to survive, the more you have to trade with others. That's obviously going to be very, very useful as well. And then things like social alliances. If you have people having your back, people owing you favors, people that are willing to work for you, well, that can obviously help you survive in that environment as well. So that social aspect of like, having friends, having alliances, that's very useful. Let's talk about this last one though, this pickup centric one, which is that like it's about giving a girl a good experience, pumping state, pumping emotions. That doesn't seem to relate directly to any kind of survivability or reproducibility. So how is that actually valuable? How would that actually work in game? Well, it's kind of an oblique thing. It represents social value obliquely. So if you're good at interacting with people, making them laugh, making them have a positive experience, that indicates social experience. It indicates that you've been in social situations where you've taken risks and it's worked before, so it implies social value. Or this idea of having other girls around you, having girls make you look good, it's implying social value. So it's not a direct survivability thing, but it is a cue, an indicator, actually technically a way of tricking people, as pickup would use it, right? A way of tricking or indicating social value, whether or not you actually possess it. So why do we have this phenomenon that guys who have wealth or status don't get girls? Why is it not, a one-to-one correlation like that? Well, there's two factors. One is that it doesn't matter what you have, it matters what you've conveyed to the girl. And two is that there are a number of different factors and they kind of play off of each other. So just having one factor isn't what the girl's looking for, she's looking for the whole package. Why is it a lot of like guys that have money or have looks or whatever don't get girls? It's because they don't put themselves in that situation, right? If you are a high status guy and you sit at home by yourself doing nothing, well then how on earth are the girls supposed to know you're high status? How are they supposed to meet you, etc.? If you're not putting yourself out there and interacting, that really isn't gonna do much for you, all right? So number one is that there has to be the proper action. But number two is that there are these different factors that are playing off of each other. So let's say that you're a rich guy and you have a Ferrari, and your opener is, hey, what's up? I have a Ferrari, I'm very rich. Well, you have conveyed that, you have some level of wealth, assuming the girl even believes you, right? If she even believes you, you've conveyed that you have some kind of wealth, but you've also conveyed that you try hard and you're trying to impress her with it, which indicates you don't think you're enough for other reasons. It indicates that you have a scarcity of women. And so you've conveyed that you're good in this one category of wealth, but you've conveyed that you're bad in sort of the social categories. You've conveyed that you're bad in terms of like how you're like interacting with people. You've conveyed that you're needy. You've conveyed all these other things that are overtly bad. And in general, people are going to believe the worst about you more than they believe the best. People will believe, it's called honest signals, right? So if you are saying something positive about yourself, you have a strong incentive to lie. If something negative about you is being conveyed, that's usually accurate and honest, because why would you intentionally say or do something negative, right? So if you're conveying a few positive qualities, a few negative qualities, people are going to believe the negative qualities. They may not quite believe the positive qualities, okay? So it matters not just that you have high value traits, it matters that you're conveying them in a high value way. And the overall package matters. Someone's not looking for just the guy who's good looking and like lame on every other level, not just the guy who's wealthy and lame on every other level, also not just the guy who's like slept with a lot of girls, but is lame on every other level, right? You want to be that total package. And so a lot of people, they think, well, why is it, it's a disproof, money doesn't matter because there are some rich people who don't get girls. No, money helps a lot, but it's not the whole package. Looks don't matter because there's some good looking guys that don't get girls. No, looks help a lot, but they're not the whole package. Game doesn't matter because, if you have game but you don't have those other qualities, you have trouble keeping girls around. Well, no. That's just part of the story, and it's certainly helping. It's just not the be all and end all right? So there's all these different factors. But the question you'll probably be asking now, if you're really thinking, is, okay, Todd, I understand that there's certain things that are valuable, and I understand that not only do I have to have them, I have to convey them, but the question is, how do I convey them? What do I actually say to a girl moment to moment, especially near when I first met her? How do I convey that value to a girl? And that's what we're going to talk about now. So now I want to address two paradoxes. One is the paradox of the guy who has the things that should be materially of value, yet doesn't get results. The other one is the question of, well, let's say I'm not that rich or that good looking. How can I still get results? Does that mean I should just give up, or is there a way? And the real answer to both of these is it's not just how much value you have, it's how much value you can convey. And the conveying is very key, hence the advent of game, right? The idea of conveying the value you have, and in some cases even conveying value you may not have, or a value you aspire to have, etc. But here's the idea, okay? Just having experienced something, the girl can't experience that off of you. But when you let the girl into your life, when you let the girl share your experiences with you, share your values with you, share your information with you, now she's having an experience, now she's having a growth experience. Think of it this way, if you're a typical viewer of this channel, you've been alive for somewhere between 15 and 60 years. And you probably have had a lot of life experiences at that time that you've learned from, grown from, they're interesting stories, all those kind of things. If you go up and talk to a girl and say, where are you from, what do you do, how old are you, you're not sharing any of your personality with her. You're not giving her any glimpse of any of that value that you have accumulated over the years of your life. However, if you tell her the stories that are meaningful to you, you are giving her a life experience that she will never and would never have without you. It is a unique, one-of-a-kind experience that is going to enhance her life. Because in the same way that your most meaningful experiences have made your life better, have taught you lessons, have helped you navigate the world better, they would do the exact same for her if you could share them with her. So therefore, the idea here is your value comes from your values, your experiences, your perspective. When you are conveying that, when you are giving a girl a glimpse of who you are, who you've become, what you've grown into in life, when you're doing that, you are sharing and offering value with her. When you are asking her questions, being very boring and mundane and not opening up and not sharing you, then you're not doing that. So in a very real sense, your value comes from your values. And that's why sometimes in game we say your whole job is to give a girl a glimpse of who you are. Now, hopefully, who you are is a high value person, and that will help a lot. But if you're high value and don't give her a glimpse into who you are, or you're low value, don't give her a glimpse into who you are, either way, there's no way for her to go ahead and get attracted to you, no way for it to actually go somewhere. So you need to share yourself, ideally share the best parts of yourself. And so truly your value comes from your values. And that's why things like just keep talking, just like self-amuse, as much as I'm against the self-amusement paradigm as a global idea of game, there is value in it in the sense that when you're talking about the things that you find fascinating, you find interesting, you find intriguing, one, you're going to be talking more charismatically. Two, you're going to be talking about things that are of value. You're going to be conveying truly who you are, okay? So when you ask what is value, you are. You absolutely are. And every single person's value is different, right? There are some people that have had, things that stories in their life, experiences that are more inherently survivability value, celebrity, rich guy, stuff like that. Yeah, they have a little bit of advantage. But regardless of what life experience you've had, you do have valuable things to share. Also, by the way, the idea that you believe they're worth sharing is very valuable. The idea that you're willing to be a teacher and share and help the girl grow is a frame and a perspective that's a very valuable seeming one, because people who are leaders did well in the evolutionary environment as well, okay? So what is value? Value is when you are conveying your best self, when you are being you, being your best, conveying it, and sharing that with the girl. When you're denying the girl that experience, you're denying her that value offer. The final point I want to make to you about value is that value is not absolute, it's relative. So if I were to ask you what's more valuable, a diamond or a glass of water, you'd probably say the diamonds. But if you're coming out of the Sahara Desert, you might just say the glass of water because it could save your life. Same is true for girls. What's valuable to them will change based on the time in their life, the different things they've been taught, all kinds of things like that. And this is something I call blueprint. And this is why one guy may do really well with a certain type of girl and really badly with another type of girl. And that is why, girls will have a boyfriend and you look at him and be like, why the fuck? But for their particular sort of idea of value, that guy is valuable for them, and that's completely fine as it is. So as much as there is this general idea of what is a valuable male, what is, survival and replication value and all that kind of stuff, and that is going to be pretty absolute. It's going to be very rare that a girl will go for a sickly seeming guy over a healthy seeming guy. Or a girl will go for a guy who's struggling and barely make it versus a guy who can take care of himself and handle himself in life. It'll be very rare to see that. But that said, there may be some girls that really like an ambitious capitalistic guy because of what they've been taught and where they're at in their life. There may be other girls that would actually be turned off by that because they want a guy to have other certain emotions or other certain ideas or values because they think that will provide a better life experience for them, or they've just been taught morally that that is right. Similarly, with religion, right? Certain girls want a guy of a particular religion, certain girls want a guy of another particular religion, and there's no absolute this is the right or this is the wrong. It's just what the girl's grown up with. So don't think that by going at him, just I'm a high value guy, every girl should be attracted to me. It doesn't work like that. You have to actually pay attention to the girl. You have to actually understand what she's looking for, who she is, what her life experience is, and that's what's going to be of value to her. So just to summarize, what is value? It's anything that would have aided survival and reproduction in the evolutionary environment. However, just having it is not enough. You have to also convey it. And value, how is it conveyed? It's conveyed through you giving the girl the experience of you. Ideally, the experience of your best self, the experience of the things that you can teach her, help her grow, and give her a better experience with as well. And finally, value is not absolute, it's relative. What's value to one girl may not be value to another girl, so you actually have to pay attention to the girl. So that's it. The answer to the question, what is value? And so now when they say in game you need value, you now know exactly what we mean.